Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Dion Major here with Inside Sales by Design. We are on day 3 of our Maximize Your Sales Efforts pop-up series webinar, and we are in session 2 of 3 for today, and we are super excited to have Nicole with us. Nicole brings a wealth of information. I hope everybody's getting the thread there, right? Every single speaker we have has experience, been there, done that. We're not making this up. We didn't do a search on Google, right? Like, not that you can't, but wisdom comes from doing. Knowledge comes from learning. Wisdom comes from doing. So we're super excited to have Nicole with us today. We're not going to spend a lot of time kind of reviewing bios and things of that nature. Everybody are probably aware of the format at this point. Connect with Nicole on LinkedIn. Make sure you do that. Connect with her, tap into her expertise, her experience, right? Let's all make new mistakes, not ones that have already been made and have a solution. So Nicole, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to have you. I love what you're going to be talking about, the 3 things: strategic hiring, right? Onboarding and training, and the continuous feedback loop, right? Our teams have voices. So with that, I am going to turn it over to you to walk.
Oh, great. Thank you. And it's so nice to be a part of this series. So I'm super excited because I geek out over this HR stuff. And and I have actually the topic strategic hiring, onboarding, and the feedback and just workforce morale. These are 3 separate big sessions, individual sessions. So I'm hoping today to give you some nuggets to actually go back and start thinking strategically, what's working well in with my teams, what's not working well, and really start to put some plans together for the upcoming year. Now's the time to start thinking about this stuff and everything that you guys have been hearing the past couple days. Hopefully you have a ton of information and you'll take some time and debrief and take some nuggets away. So I'm going to flip over to my presentation because I do have a lot. And Dion, I know that you're an expert in the onboarding with the sales, so you can chime in and hopefully we won't get derailed too much because, like I said, I geek out with this stuff. I think it's really important. It drives your bottom line. My topic for today, as I'm pulling this up, it's really maximizing your sales efforts and loving your people. And when I say loving your people, it's not that you're in love with your people, but it's really showing the appreciation and taking the extra time to really invest in your people because they are your most important asset within your company. Amen. So we're gonna jump right in here. As I mentioned, I'm Nicole Costantino, and I put it up here really big because everybody spells my last name incorrectly and then they can't find me. So the last name is Costantino. So I just wanted to put that up there real big. You'll see it at the end here. But definitely link up with me. And if you have questions that we don't answer today, definitely shoot me an email or social media. So great companies are not built by bricks or mortar, right? They are crafted by the extraordinary individuals who breathe life into your organization and create and help create your culture and support your core values within your company. So we have to, as leaders and owners of our organizations, invest in talent because it's really the heartbeat of revenue maximization. So we really need to invest in our employees, and it starts with the hiring process, which we're going to jump into here next. But that is the 3 topics. Dion, you hit it. We're going to talk about strategic hiring and alignment. And when I say alignment, that's aligning to your core values. And I'm going to say, if you don't have core values within your organization, if you're a startup, start thinking about what they are. What are your core values? What is your purpose? Because that drives who you are and how you work in your organization. So each of these topics, like I said, they're really its own session. So my goal is for you to take some nuggets away and really start thinking about your current processes and start working not just by yourself, but with your teams. Pull your teams together and start thinking about what improvements do I need to make moving into the new year. And now is really the best time to start doing that and getting ready for 2024. Onboarding and training, and then workforce morale is what we're going to get into in that continuous feedback. So
Love all of that.
All right, so hiring and aligning. So finding the right talent and aligning them with your vision is the cornerstone of success. And I talked about those core values. If you don't have the core values and you're not hiring based on your core values, you can have the most skilled person, and if they don't have the right values, or if they're not a motivational or cultural fit, they're not going to drive your goals and that bottom line for you. They're not going to be a fit for your organization. So I just wanted to throw some numbers out there just so you have them, and you guys can research this, and your numbers may look similar or a little bit different depending where you are within the United States. But companies lose about 18% of their workforce to turnover each year. That was higher a couple years ago when we were going through COVID. It was all over the place, but it's somewhat stabilizing. 12% of that is typically voluntary turnover, and then the 6% is involuntary, where we're terming or asking people to leave our organization. This is really interesting. Highly engaged employees are 87% less likely to leave. So that means if you're hiring the right people, you're engaging them, you're giving them feedback, you're recognizing them, they're going to stay with you. They're not going to leave the organization. If you're training, you're developing, they're going to stay. But 30% of your new hires are leaving within 90 days. And there's a lot of factors to that, and onboarding could be one of them. When you see some of the stats with onboarding, if you don't have a good onboarding process, it doesn't set them up for success at all. So hiring the right talent, you've got to have a process. A lot of people, yes,
please,
right? High fives. You've got to have a process. There are so many leaders that as soon as somebody leaves the organization, they're posting their position and let's go, let's recruit, we need to start interviewing right away. But they don't take the time to pause and validate that job description and really think about, is this the right role that we need? Does the job description need updated? And then thinking about, what skill sets do we need? Or are there any gaps within our current team that we need to tweak or adjust that role before we actually post it? Instead of just going full forward, let's take some time and pause and make sure that we have the right skill set, the right requirements, thinking about the candidate profile. What type of person do we want to hire? Yep. What gaps do we have on our team? And then post the position. Then start to look at the resumes. And then before you even bring anybody in or schedule anyone, have a process mapped out. Are you phone screening? I like to have knockout questions. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but I like to get the crazies out of the way. I don't just want to bring people in just because they look good on paper. I want to have a phone screen or a Zoom call to make sure they have the right energy. They're in the right salary range for me. Some states you can ask that question, some you cannot. But just to make sure they are answering my knockout questions in terms of travel. There's key questions that I'll want to ask, and it's going to be different for every position. So I'll screen them and determine if I want to bring them in or not. And then the actual in-person interview, it's who's going to be a part of that interview. Trying to figure out, is it typically the hiring manager, but are there any other team members? And then having a set of standard questions that are opening questions, behavioral-based questions that are specific to the job role, so that you can understand past behaviors and situations, and you can probe and ask probing questions. as well as behavioral-based questions around your core values, because you want to see if they're a cultural fit and meet the core values of the organization. So mapping all of that out. Some positions need a job assessment, some do not. And then the final interview should be with your executives or whoever that owner of the company, your CEO or COO, whoever that may be. And then you can go on from there. But the process is so important to make sure that you have a consistent process, so that way you can evaluate all of your candidates and make a good hire. And then interview tips. This is another area that I see a lot of my clients. They don't prepare for the interview. They just schedule them. They don't look at the resume. They're like, oh, wait, what job is this? Oh, I didn't realize that was in the candidates will ask questions, and they don't realize that that was a responsibility in the job description that was posted. So it's prepare for the interview. Make sure you have a copy of the job description. Make sure you have a copy of the resume. You know who you're interviewing. You review the questions. You have the questions printed out, and you stay on script so that you don't derail the interview process. And then create a welcoming atmosphere. I know a lot of people meet in their office. You may want to meet in a conference room so you're not disrupted by your phone ringing, even your cell phone, so that you can really truly focus and use active listening, so that you can engage with that individual. They are interviewing you as much as you are interviewing them. And then there's some controversy out there that it should be 50-50, the interviewer and the candidate speaking, but I'm old school, and I truly believe that we should be asking the questions and we should be listening 80% of the time, or the candidate should be speaking 80% of the time, and we should be listening and only speaking 20% of the time. So because we want to get as much information that we can so that we can make a good hiring decision. And then I mentioned it. Ask the behavioral based questions. They're so important. And in my workshops, I use the STAR process. It's been out there forever, and it works so well. It works well with giving positive feedback, constructive feedback, and in the interview process, you're looking for a situation or task, the action the candidate took, and then the result. And then if you don't get that, then you ask the follow-up questions. What was your role in that situation, so that you can understand if that person was standing by watching the situation and just telling you a story, or if they actually truly took action in the situation. So, and then your core values. So that's there. I have some pros and cons. If you're hiring the right person, if you're following a standard process, you're going to have a win for the entire team. You're going to have a win for yourself. You're going to have a win for the company and for your team, because hiring the right person is going to have increased productivity. You're going to get somebody that's innovative or wanting to be innovative and creative, a positive work environment. And for sales, it's all about clients, right? And client satisfaction. If you're not hiring an effective candidates, or if you don't have an effective hiring process, that candidate that's coming in, maybe they are the best salesperson, but their attitude with the team is terrible, or their communication is terrible, or they just don't follow up on the reports or whatever. You're going to have high turnover. It's going to be a negative impact on their team. There's going to be missed opportunities. The morale is going to be down. It could be very disruptive to the team and create some damage. So.
Yeah, especially in this day and age, right? Things go viral, whether we like it or not, and negative goes viral faster than positive.
Yes.
So I love what you're talking about here, Nicole. I love the fact that you use the word love. I think love is more action than a feeling, right? There's probably a great debate that will start there, but I think having a process, and I think sometimes people have an allergic reaction to the word process, right? We're not saying it's got to be a volume of things, but for each of those things that you had in the buttons you had in the interview process, have a checklist. And it doesn't have to be big. It could be 2 or 3 things, right? So
Right.
we can set up that system. And I agree, right? We have to be attractive to our clients. We have to be attractive to people, right? There's so much goodness here. And it's almost like the soft skills that you can't always see and measure. But I think
Yeah,
that day is here and it's been here for a while and it's coming more tangibly. So I couldn't agree more with you on this. This is
good.
amazing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, finding the right fit takes time, right?
Mm. Mm.
So, but if you're going to make great things happen in your company, you got to unlock that greatness through precise hiring
Yeah.
and having a process and being consistent. And it's like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym once and expect to lose 10 pounds, right? So it would be nice, but or packing on that muscle. You really have to take some time and build out a process that works for you. And maybe it's 10 steps or maybe it's 3 steps, and that works for your
Yep.
organization. But you do have to figure out what process works for you,
Yeah.
so that you can build a team that's aligned with your team, and can help you grow your business.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
Absolutely.
So that's a quick high level of interviewing. There's so many more details. I could spend all day on just interviewing and role playing.
Yeah,
Super fun to do role playing,
it
but
is.
definitely look at your processes that you currently have and the questions that you're asking. If you're struggling with your hiring process or not finding the right fit, it's probably because you're not asking the right questions.
Yep.
All right. Second thing, onboarding. Dion, and I'm not gonna, you are the expert at this group for sure, but the art of onboarding and training, you can supercharge your revenue engine completely if you have a seamless onboarding process. So crafting a seamless onboarding experience is the gateway to employee retention and engagement. That is for sure. So a lot of people think that onboarding is just an introduction or but it's not. It's really an initiation. It's the start of your actual journey within that organization. So it's really important to spend a lot of time in making sure that you're welcoming and onboarding this person from the day they accept that offer, even from the time they apply and interview with you. They are starting their journey within your organization. So
Absolutely, Nicole, and that speaks to the topic of personalization has come up in every single conversation we've had during this series, right? And you are an amazing wordsmith because I'm taking so many little nuggets from this. I love to hear where you say it's not just an introduction, it's the initiation into a journey where commitment meets enthusiasm.
enthusiasm.
Oh, I love that because people start and they want to be great,
They
right?
do.
So give them an amazing experience.
Yep. They're so excited to start. And
Yes.
I will share a mistake that one of my clients made. They have so many employees that are starting and they're so excited, and they're the manager that they're reporting to forgets to call them and tell them where to go,
Oh,
or doesn't meet them. And it's such a disruption and disappointment on their first day when they're standing at the door and nobody's there and the door's locked. And it's like, oh, where am I supposed to go? It's not a good experience for
yeah.
somebody. So it's you have to stay connected from the time that person applies and you're interviewing and they accept that offer. The excitement of a new opportunity and a new journey to start your career. It's you really have to stay connected
Yeah.
with the new hires.
Yeah, Nicole, again, I think you have a wealth of information on all of this stuff, and I think you and I could talk about this for days.
Yeah, we could.
So I agree, right? Just get it, and then coaching a lot of the leaders and the folks at the company to execute against that gracious hospitality, which
Right.
for some of us, that's not our natural mode. So we have to
No.
learn it or find somebody in our team who wants to do it. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that either, right?
Right.
Okay, sorry, keep going.
We're good. We're good. So here's some onboarding stats. So I put the 58% at the top
Yep.
because companies with a structured onboarding program keep 58% of the employees for like 3 years. Those that don't, it's kind of iffy whether their onboarding experience kind of sets the stage for their career within that organization.
100%.
So companies that have no onboarding strategy for internal promotions, and I think we forget about this group, 24% have no strategy. So when you promote somebody, this is a positive thing, but it's like, Dion, congratulations, you're promoted, and nothing changes. You have no plan. Now, some companies do have a pretty robust plan, but 24% have no strategy. It's congratulations, here's some money, you're promoted, and nothing changes. There's no development, there's no plan, they're doing the same thing. And then they get frustrated.
100%.
They want to grow.
Yeah.
So,
Nicole, and to that point, like that's, sorry, go ahead.
So you have to think about those internal promotions. Onboarding isn't just for new hires. It's for those within the organization with role changes as well.
Yes, I know. And when we work with clients, we partner with HR and build the playbook and build those promotion strategies. And if they have an LMS, great. If not, God bless it, there's YouTube. There is so much content out on the internet that you can create a learning path for people that is company approved with free content. You can literally do that. Let me look at our webinar series, right? So yeah, to your point, like there's so many ways that you can do this. There's zero excuse that you shouldn't have this in place at this point in 2023. Right. So, okay, I will be quiet now. Please continue.
No, you're good. This is great.
So good though. So with such passion behind it, right? Like give people what they need to keep them here, help them help you, right?
Right. I mean, you hired them. The cost I have over here too, the $1,500, that's for non-exempt employees. Your frontline staff is $1,500, but the cost of onboarding any employee, it could be way higher than that, way higher, depending on the level of employee that you're onboarding. So 88% believe they are not given a good onboarding program. So that's a high number. So I think we all have some opportunities with, no matter what onboarding program you have, there's always opportunities. I worked for a large corporation, and the hospital that I actually supported, we had a new hire snack chat. And it was for within 30 days, we would invite all the new hires, and whoever could come, we would, the executive team would sit down and get feedback on their onboarding experience. And it was eye-opening. Some of the things were very minor and we could fix very quickly, and we had no idea. And some of them didn't get calls from their leader. They didn't know where to go, or parking. Some of them gave feedback on benefits or the portal or the application process. So it was very enlightening, and it was a great process to get some feedback and engage with those employees. So, but everybody will have an opportunity if they ask their new hires.
Yeah, absolutely.
So nobody's perfect. So some recommendations for onboarding: structured onboarding orientation. Work with your HR. If you have an HR professional within your organization, they are great partners. Ask your new hires what worked well on their onboarding experience or orientation, what didn't work well, where's the opportunities. They will tell you where the opportunities are for improvement. And then creating that welcoming environment day one, calling them before they start, letting them know what to expect first day, first week, first month. And my giveaway is, I'll share at the end, is the check-ins. Consistent checking in with your new hires at 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and even asking repetitive questions. What's working well for you this month? Is the job what you expected it to be? Do you feel supported? What resources do you need? what can I help you with? Is there anything that I can do for you as your leader? What's not working well? And what challenges are you having? So having those checkpoints shows that you care, you value, you love your employees by checking in. And it's not just the new hires, it's also your current staff too, your current employees that should have that check-in. Just because they've been there a while doesn't mean that we should not check in with them on a quarterly basis as well. And then also with onboarding, it's the mentorship and guidance. It's having a buddy. If you, the leader, can't be there or have meetings and are back-to-back meetings and you're letting your new hire loose on their own, assign a buddy or a mentor so that somebody can guide them and be there to take them to lunch, show them around and tour and do introductions and answer questions. And then the continuous learning. Once onboarding is done, it doesn't end. Yeah. So we want to continue to offer support there. All right, almost done. We're almost wrapped up here. A couple more nuggets to share. And this is really about workforce morale. It's continuous feedback. But this is really about engagement and retention. It's not just in the numbers. It's about nurturing a team that thrives on feedback and positivity. So here's some numbers related to engagement surveys that have been sent out. And you can find these in Forbes and Gallup and a couple other HR organizations. But 65% workers report being happy in their current job, which is good. That's positive, right? 70% workers say they gain a sense of purpose. We want our employees to have a purpose. That goes back to our core values and feeling connected to the organization. 33% comprehensive onboarding makes employees more engaged at work. So there's that onboarding again, onboarding new employees, onboarding job role changes and ensuring that we continue to engage our employees is extremely important. Here's the frowny face. Disengaged employees have a 15% lower profitability for a company. So that 30%, 35% of employees that are unhappy and the 30% that don't feel like they're connected to the purpose, that's the group that we need to figure out how can we connect them back to the purpose and re-engage them so that they can help continue to grow the company. We can better engage them, or maybe they're not happy or a fit for their role anymore. Maybe we need to find another role for them, or maybe they're just not a fit for our organization anymore. So again, we need to figure out what that population is and then make some decisions. So workforce morale recommendations for all of you is recognize and appreciate your employees. Find a way that your employees like to be recognized. And there's multiple ways, easy, inexpensive ways that you can recognize them. And it doesn't have to always be professional. It can be achievements. You can celebrate employees big or small. I like to send birthday cards in the mail. I like to send thank you notes, handwritten thank you notes to them when they've accomplished something at work. And you don't need to tell everybody, but a handwritten thank you note goes a long way. Yes. Anniversary dates, sending them a card in the mail to their home. It goes a long way. When I get a card from somebody that's handwritten, which most people don't do, they just send an email. It's pretty nice. It's exciting to get a card, a handwritten one in the mail. Yeah. And then the other thing that I've always done with my teams, and I actually share this with my clients, is favorite things. I actually have during the onboarding process, the employees fill out their favorite things. So if they're having a bad day, I know what their favorite candy is, or their favorite snack, or their favorite drink, or Diet Coke, or energy drink. And if they're having a bad day, I'll slide them their candy or their energy drink, Monster, whatever that may be, and they light up. Yeah. It makes them feel better. Yeah. And you can use them for other recognition things too. Mm-hmm. Professional development is huge. Everybody wants to continue to develop and grow within your organization. If you stop developing, they're going to become disengaged. So include them in decision making, stretch assignments. It doesn't always have to be a classroom training. You can develop them in creative ways.
100%. Yep.
And then work-life balance. If you can be flexible where you can. There's lots of ideas out there for flexibility when it comes to work-life balance. It could be working from home, it could be breaks, it could be an app that you get for your company for wellness, so they can take breaks at work or stretching. There's lots of things available out there. And then transparent communication. Feedback is a gift. If you can learn how to give feedback, and I mentioned STAR AR earlier, it's a great tool to give feedback. If you can give that positively and then constructively, it is a great tool for leaders to learn how to utilize the situation, action, result, and then an alternative result to give feedback to individuals. It's gonna help you with those crucial conversations. So lastly, and I'm going to close, and then if there's, Dion, if you have any questions, because I know we're coming up on time here.
Yep.
Loving your people. I may have said this earlier. Your people, the heartbeat of success lies within people who power it. So your people are your most important asset. You've got to invest in them, create positive experiences. Yes. And you've got to communicate and make connections. I know old school years ago, you weren't supposed to know what's going on in people's lives and personal, but you've got to make connections, have core values. And I have this model, lead simply, model the behavior you want to see in individuals, include them, and lead simply. So just make connections with your people, get to know who they are, recognize them for the work that they do, and give constructive feedback to help them grow as well. So investing in and valuing your people not only enhances the well-being of individuals within your organization, but it directly impacts the bottom line. It impacts everybody. It creates a positive work environment. It helps the company grow, which helps you grow as an individual. Recognizing employee as a fundamental asset emphasizes the importance of creating an environment where everybody can thrive, contributing their best and being the best version of themselves. They're going to be happier. They're going to want to come to work, and everybody's going to be successful. So lastly, I'll go over the giveaways. So I have this interview process guide. It's pretty long, but it outlines all the steps within the interview process that were in that little wheel, and defines them. There's what to say, what not to say, the do's and the don'ts, and a couple resources and tips in there. I have a checklist for a new hire orientation. This is not a robust orientation guide. It is, if you don't have anything, you should have at least this checklist. With the paperwork that you need, call the employee. It's a skeleton orientation guide, but you should have a pretty robust orientation onboarding process. The 30, 60, 90-day check-in discussion guide is available to you to follow up. I always put, when I have a new hire, 30 days on my calendar, and I attach the 30-day check-in to make sure that I'm following up with all of my new hires. It's a great tool. And then the favorite things, a sample of a favorite things. You can put any questions out there you want, but it's a sample of what I have to share.
Those are amazing.
Yeah. And then lastly, again, let's connect. I know I went through things pretty quickly. It's a lot of information, but connect if you have questions. I'm here to make things simple in HR. I know HR is not a fun topic for anyone. and when HR is called into things, it's usually a problem, but these are positive things. These are things that can really help your organization and really positively impact your employees. So I'm here to help and support you.
I love it. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. That's my last slide.
I love it. Thank you so much, Nicole. I agree. I think there's so many ways that we as leaders in an organization can partner with our HR team to be proactive. And sometimes people don't know that because sometimes we work better under pressure, right? So, but being proactive alleviates the pressure and alleviates that stress. So, thank you so much for sharing your
Yeah.
wisdom. Thank you for your generosity with your giveaways. For those of you, make sure that you are connecting with Nicole. If you register for this event, we will follow up with you via email. We will make sure that you have all of those giveaways. But I highly encourage you, make sure you are connecting with Nicole, make sure you're connecting with me, and we will see you at next year's event that we're going to be having. So, Nicole, thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
You too.